I had just spent 3 days searching for a grizzly bear and finally got my moment in the thunderstorm. As I made my way back to the car, I thought it was all over. But little did I know that the next day, I'd have a much closer encounter with North America's most dangerous apex predator. We hopped out of the car on this frosty morning and immediately saw a deer grazing. We were hoping to get it against the stunning Grand Teton peaks, but the hill behind it was too tall for a good shot.
Now let's try to get something in this beautiful light.
I know. Man, imagine a moose in that mist.
We found footprints, but as the sun came up, only geese and sandpipers were to be found. Throughout the past 4 days, I had adventured through Yellowstone and captured some amazing moments in nature. I got to witness its sounds, whatever that is, and rare creatures beside amazing scenery. My goal was to photograph a grizzly during my trip here, and through waiting out a thunderstorm, I was finally able to do so. But my photographs weren't exactly what I wanted yet, and I knew I could get better. I wanted a better close-up image of a grizzly, and an image of a grizzly with those iconic Tetons in the background. So here I am in the Grand Tetons with Watts Wildlife, searching for some more wildlife to photograph. We ran into a pair of bluebirds. These birds are stunning to photograph with their sky blue colors, and against the orange sunrise lighting up the brush, there were some interesting angles on them in the willow forest.
Just keep going and trying to find whatever else.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me.
Making our way across the stream, we soon ran into an American robin tending to its nest in a tree. While we couldn't get any angles on the nest dug into the tree, we did get to see it making its way around for some grub to feed its young ones. While watching its patterns, I noticed it going down towards a little stream outlet to drink from the river. While I went there to photograph it, I got distracted by a tinier and much cuter black-capped chickadee fluttering around for a snack, and wound up capturing an isolated scenic photo of it I decently liked. I wasn't done with the robin yet, though, and after re-engaging with it just a little ways over the mound, it landed on a clump of dead branches that made for an interesting compositional element for it to perch on. While I wish I could have color isolated this scene better, the composition was still worthwhile for a photograph. At the time of this video releasing, we are in our final week of the Bird Burger photo competition being available to submit your photos to. What's awesome about this competition is that it's the only wildlife photography competition judged live in real time, hosted by me, and we have a $4,500 prize pool with a $1,000 grand prize available this year. If you're looking to enter, you can check out my Bird Burger channel in the description below to see more and enter your photos for a chance to win cash and prizes. We continued to hike around more and admired the Grand Teton views in the distance through the trees. We ran into a few more birds, including a killdeer and even a herd of elk way out in the distance, but no scenes good enough to photograph. In a fun shot here, you can actually see birds on the back of the elk trying to hang on. It wouldn't be until later this evening that the real moment I had been waiting for would come.
Typically, as a wildlife photographer, you have all the weight dispersed on your back. With a big camera and a big lens, cotton carrier helps disperse the weight in the front, which makes it really easy to carry. Not only that, but if I leave my camera in my backpack and want to take it out, it takes a good 15 to 30 seconds, which is just unacceptable in wildlife photography. So what cotton carrier does is makes it really easy to access so that you never miss a shot. Ooh. Just like that. They even have models that are perfect for dual camera carrying or even tripod adapters that allow you to throw it between this and a tripod.
If you're interested in purchasing one, Cotton Carrier has been generous enough to give a 15% discount to anyone who watches this video this week through the link in the description. On our way back, we ran into a yellow warbler, which for me is a treat to see. I worked at trying to capture this guy amongst the thick brush and bushes, and to my surprise, I captured a photograph I liked quite a bit. I also got a high-key image against the sky that turned out decent, showing off its bright yellow color. As the light got bad, Evan and I decided to walk back to the cars to start our search for grizzlies once again when we stumbled across a pile of bones.
Look at this. It looks like elk to me.
It looks kind of like cleared out, as if maybe was it resting in there, do you think? Or
It could be, yeah. This could be like an area where an elk or moose bedded down. We're not at the top of the food chain out here.
yeah.
And so the journey begins once again. This wasn't the first time I had gotten up my hopes for a grizzly, nor would it be my last. Evan had heard of some grizzly siblings just a few years old hanging out just outside a town border, so we headed over to check them out. Unfortunately, this situation was being managed along a highway road in which we couldn't get any closer than a parking lot where our cars were parked. It was fun to watch them wrestle and play around for a bit, but ultimately, no photographs would come of our time with them since the ranger was keeping them at bay. And since Evan and I knew that we wouldn't get good photos, we decided to move back into position where Grizzly 399 and Bonita had been spotted on our previous day. And we predicted right. Out from the tree line, Bonita came stumbling out into the clearing. At this time, the weather was perfect. The storm had brought in a soft and moody light, but not so dark that it dampened the whole image. Through the chaos of the people, we scrambled into place and set up our tripods just in time to grab some amazing photographs of this powerful bear. She stayed a distance away and hugged the tree line, bringing her further away from the security of the vehicles as the hour progressed. As she dug for gophers out in the field, the photographs were becoming less stunning once again, and Evan, desiring to get even better shots of his historic Grizzly 399 encounter from our last adventure, decided to pursue a plan to photograph her. We split up, me staying here and hoping to predict Bonita's path if she crosses the road, and Evan heading a little down the highway to try and find Grizzly 399 so that if either came into good view, we would know about it. The storm continued to approach, and I stood around waiting in anticipation. After waiting for an hour, Bonita initiated her approach towards the road, and I knew that the crossing was about to happen. I texted Evan and immediately started planning my composition of her in front of the Tetons based on her route. She walked closer and closer, and nothing was going to stop her now. I just had to be in the right place at the right time to get the shot that I wanted. Because of my willingness to stay in my last encounter with her, I got photographs that no one else was willing to get in that scene on that stormy day. And due to sticking around here, I would be the only one in the area photographing her right before the time of her crossing. Evan had arrived, scrambling into place, and just as she started sprinting towards the road, he made it in time to photograph, while I took my chances with a wide angle of the Tetons and Grizzly and pulled off an incredible scenic image of the Tetons towering above Bonita. Not only did I capture a wider scenic image of the grizzly bear with the Grand Tetons, but I also got my fair share of close-up portrait images that I had hoped for of the bear. Everything I had dreamed of getting in my week at Yellowstone had finally come to fruition. All of that hard work, a few days of disappointment, and no grizzly photos ultimately came down to this moment where it all came together on my final night in Wyoming. What a sunset that was to be out in nature, and what an incredible week in Yellowstone, searching to photograph a grizzly. If you want to check out the Bird Burger photo competition and enter your photos, click the link in the description below. And if you want to see part 1 of this Yellowstone adventure, check out this video here in the end screen.